give you the silent look. No words, just a pause, a sigh, a lingering stare. You begin to question yourself. Did I do something wrong? This is nonverbal guilt induction, a tactic that punishes without confrontation, and the discomfort pushes you to fix what was never broken. 2. They whisper your name into the crowd. Everyone turns to you. Suddenly you're exposed. A harmless joke, they say. But something stings. This is public undermining, a way to shrink your power under the mask of humor, and you're left laughing while questioning yourself. 3. They show you kindness when it's least expected. After coldness, distance, maybe even cruelty, they bring you coffee, say something sweet. This is intermittent reinforcement, a powerful loop of confusion and craving, where love becomes a prize you chase. 4. They tell a story where they're always the victim. Even when they cause the harm, they suffered the most. You hesitate to challenge them. They've already claimed the pain. This is victim inversion, where accountability is hidden beneath a mask of woundedness. 5. They bring up your worst moments in calm tones. Not to yell, not to punish. Just a casual mention, over dinner, among friends. This is passive humiliation, a way to disarm you with a smile while turning your past into their punchline. 6. They answer questions with questions. Never directly, never clearly. You leave the conversation unsure what was said or what you asked. This is deflection via inquiry, a mental fog that makes dialogue feel circular until you stop trying. 7. They disappear when you need them most. No call, no message, just silence, and later, an excuse. You learn not to expect them and to apologize for needing them. This is strategic abandonment, a control tactic dressed as distance, and slowly you shrink your needs to fit their absences. 8. They gift you things you never asked for, not to make you happy, but to make you owe them. The gift lingers, so does the guilt. This is manipulative generosity, a subtle hook disguised as kindness. 9. They correct your feelings, not your facts. You say you are hurt. They say you're being too dramatic. You speak your truth. They say you're overreacting. This is emotional invalidation, a gentle silencing of your inner world, so theirs can remain louder. 10. They bring up what they've done for you, often. Even if it was months ago, even if you never asked, gratitude becomes an obligation. This is favor-based control, where giving becomes leverage, and you begin to pay with silence. 11. They speak in riddles. Answers become vague. Meanings stretch like fog. You chase clarity, but find only more questions. This is deliberate obscurity, a tactic that confuses the mind, so you start trusting their words more than your own thoughts. 12. They agree with you too quickly. Even before you finish speaking, they nod, smile, echo your words. It feels like connection, but something feels thin. This is premature mirroring, a way to build false intimacy fast, before trust has time to grow roots. 13. They ask questions that sound like compliments. Why would someone as smart as you do that? You're so sensitive, in a good way. This is disguised criticism, where praise is bait and your guard is already down. 14. They exaggerate your flaws softly. You always take things personally. You're just too nice. It's your weakness. This is covert character framing. They write a quiet script for you, and over time, you start to play the role. 15. They delay responses on purpose. You text, you wait, you spiral. When they finally reply, your need feels excessive. This is control through silence, an invisible leash that tightens every time you reach out. 16. They pretend not to understand. You explain, then explain again. They nod, confused, making you question your clarity. This is gaslighting through confusion, a gentle erasure of your confidence in favor of their blank stare. 17. They reference people you've never met. That's not what Mark would have done. Sarah understood me without all this drama. This is phantom comparison, a shadow tactic that makes you compete with ghosts. 18. They frame your independence as distance. You don't need anyone, do you? You never open up. This is attachment shaming, a way to make your strength seem like a flaw, until you depend on them for closeness. 19. They talk about themselves constantly, until you share. Then their eyes drift, their phone lights up. Suddenly, you're invisible. This is selective disengagement, a pattern that teaches you your needs aren't interesting. 20. They make you feel lucky to be chosen. They hint that others wanted them, that they're hard to impress. This is scarcity manipulation, where their affection feels rare, so you cling to crumbs like gold. 21. They make their pain louder than yours. You share something tender, but suddenly they hurt more. Your story disappears inside theirs. This is pain hijacking, a tactic that centers them in every wound, so you learn to swallow yours in silence. 22. They change the subject when things get close. Right when truth is near, they shift. A joke, a distraction, a sigh. What you needed to say dissolves. This is emotional redirection, a gentle form of avoidance that keeps real connection just out of reach. 23. They tell you what you're feeling. Even when you disagree, they insist. You're angry, you're overthinking, you're jealous. This is emotional labeling, a tactic that overrides your truth and replaces it with theirs. 24. They warn you about others, often. She's manipulative. He's not good for you. Their concern feels protective, but isolating. This is preemptive poisoning, a tactic that limits your world so they remain your center. 25. They only validate what fits their view. You express confusion and they call it clarity. You express clarity and they call it confusion. This is narrative dominance, a slow rewriting of your experience until you doubt your own lens. 26. They use softness as a shield. They speak gently, touch lightly, smile often. But beneath it, something controls. This is benevolent control, where manipulation hides in kindness, and you're unsure where love ends and pressure begins. 27. They overwhelm you with details. A flood of names, timelines, facts, so many pieces you forget the whole. This is informational flooding, a tactic that buries truth under noise until you surrender out of exhaustion. 28. They apologize in ways that make it your fault. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you took it like that. This is non-apology framing, where the words sound sweet, but accountability stays untouched. 29. They touch your insecurities gently. Just a word here, a glance there. Nothing direct, but deeply felt. This is micro-shaming, a quiet erosion of confidence masked as care or curiosity. 30. They make chaos feel like chemistry. The highs are thrilling, the lows are dizzying. You mistake instability for passion. This is addictive turbulence, a dynamic that hooks your nervous system and calls it love. 31. They withdraw warmth just when you need it. You open up, reach out, but they turn cold, unreadable. This is emotional withholding, a tactic that teaches you love is conditional and your vulnerability comes at a cost. 32. They frame your boundaries as selfish. You say no, and they look hurt. You used to be more open. This is boundary reversal, a subtle guilt trip that twists your self-care into cruelty. 33. They share secrets early, very early. You feel special, chosen, like you've seen a side no one else has. This is trauma baiting, a tactic that creates fast, false intimacy, so you bond before you question. 34. They laugh when you're serious. Not always loudly, just enough to sting. Your feelings become the punchline. This is minimization through humor, a soft weapon that cloaks dismissal in a smile. 35. They make you explain simple things, again and again. You wonder if you're confusing, or if they just don't care. This is strategic incomprehension, a way to frustrate you into silence so they never have to change. 36. They tell stories that never quite end. A tale with missing parts, pieces that shift. You feel something is off, but can't prove it. This is narrative control, a slow erosion of clarity through moving truths. 37. They elevate others to lower you. She always knows what to say. He never reacts like that. This is passive comparison, a tactic that bruises without blame while appearing harmless. 38. They pretend to forget. Your birthday, your boundary, that important thing you said. Each time you question if it matters. This is selective amnesia, a gentle erasure of what's important to you until you feel invisible. 39. They act confused when you express pain. Where is this coming from? You're being dramatic. This is dismissive disorientation, a soft veil that makes you second-guess your own emotional reality. 40. They ask questions that aren't really questions. You really believe that? Are you seriously wearing that? This is judgment disguised as inquiry, a tactic that cloaks criticism in curiosity. 41. They praise you when you're quiet. You're so easy to be around when you're calm. I love it when you're low maintenance. This is reinforcement of silence, a reward system that makes your stillness feel lovable and your voice feel disruptive. 42. They turn group opinions into facts. Everyone agrees you overreacted. people have said this about you before. This is social triangulation, a tactic that turns invisible crowds into weapons of shame. 43. They confuse pace with depth. 3 dates in, and they're calling you their soulmate. It feels intense, but unearned. This is love bombing, a strategy that builds castles in the clouds so you don't see the ground disappearing beneath you. 44. They act like the victim in your story. You express hurt, and suddenly they're wounded. You're attacking me. I was just trying to help. This is deflective vulnerability, where your pain becomes their spotlight, and you're left apologizing for feeling. 45. They twist kindness into obligation. I've done so much for you. No one else would put up with this. This is debt-based control, a quiet contract you never signed, but are guilted into honoring. 46. They use your dreams as leverage, encouraging until your growth threatens them. Suddenly, you're selfish, ungrateful, distant. This is aspiration sabotage, a tactic that supports you only when you stay small. 47. They wait until you're tired to talk. At night, after long days, when your walls are soft and your mind is foggy. This is fatigue manipulation, a technique that slides ideas past your clarity while your defenses are low. 48. They remind you who you were, not who you are. You've always been like this. This is just you repeating old patterns. This is identity anchoring, a subtle push to keep you from evolving by chaining you to your past. 49. They call you intense only when you're honest, as if your truth is too loud, too much, a beautiful raw reduced to a flaw. This is emotional tone policing, a way to silence your depth while pretending it's about delivery. 50. They romanticize your pain. You're so deep because of what you've been through. You wear your scars so beautifully. This is trauma glorification, a lens that turns suffering into poetry, so no one thinks to help you heal. 51. They leave gaps so you fill them. A vague message, a half-finished sentence. You scramble to make sense of it, blaming yourself. This is strategic ambiguity, a way to make you do the emotional labor while they stay mysteriously untouched. 52. They flatter your flaws, but only to disarm you. You're so adorably insecure. I love how jealous you get. This is weaponized affection, a tactic that coats red flags in charm, so you mistake harm for intimacy. 53. They perform empathy without feeling it. The right words, the nod, the touch, but something's missing, presence. This is false resonance, a mimicry of care that feels warm until you realize you're still alone. 54. They create chaos, then offer calm. Raise their voice, storm out, trigger confusion, then return with soft eyes and soothing words. This is the abuse apology cycle, a storm followed by stillness, training you to crave the calm they control. 55. They mirror you a little too perfectly. Your hobbies, your words, your worldview, reflected back like a flawless echo. This is identity mirroring, a tool to build fast connection before revealing their true self much later. 56. They use honesty to hurt. I'm just being real. Someone had to tell you. This is cruelty wrapped in candor, a way to shame you while wearing the mask of truth. 57. They interrupt your joy with doubt. A win, a celebration, then a cold comment. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is joy puncturing, a tactic that flattens happiness so you never fly too far. 58. They hint at leaving, but never do. A sigh, a threat, a maybe this isn't working. You chase stability they never intended to give. This is instability anchoring, a dance that makes you cling tighter to what's already slipping. 59. They correct you in front of others. Tiny things, a detail, a date. Not enough to cause a scene, just enough to sting. This is public undermining, a slow erosion of confidence hidden in precision. 60. They joke about things you've only shared in trust. Your deepest fears turned into punchlines. And when you flinch, they say, it's just a joke. This is humorized betrayal, a way to cross your boundaries without ever having to admit it. 61. They question your memory, subtly. That's not what happened. You're remembering it wrong. And you wonder, am I? This is micro gaslighting, not to erase your reality completely, just to make you doubt it. 62. They make themselves the exception. This isn't like me. I've never done this before, only with you. This is special case manipulation, a way to make you feel chosen, even as they repeat old patterns in new clothes. 63. They exploit your need to explain. Silence, a raised brow, a simple why. You spiral into over-justification. This is explanation fatigue, a trick that uses your clarity against your calm. 64. They compare you. Just enough. She never used to get upset like that. He handled it better. This is selective comparison, a way to shrink your worth by holding you next to ghosts. 65. They tie love to obedience. I just want you to listen. If you loved me, you try harder. This is conditional care, a bond that feels warm until you stop performing. 66. They hold peace hostage. One wrong move and the mood shifts. Tension fills the air like smoke. This is emotional landmines, a tactic that trains you to tiptoe just to keep the calm. 67. They make your needs sound dramatic. You're so sensitive. Why do you always need something? This is need shaming, a quiet message that says your wholeness is too loud. 68. They delay apologies until you break. They wait, watch, and when you finally snap, then they're sorry. This is apology timing control, a power play that flips blame right as you reach your edge. 69. They interrupt you with logic. I don't see how that makes sense. Let's be rational. This is emotional invalidation by reason, a tactic that uses intellect to silence your feeling. 70. They make everything a test. Will you call first? Will you guess what's wrong? Will you prove yourself without knowing the rules? This is relational gamification. Love turned into a performance where safety is the prize. 71. They cloak demands in sweetness. I just want us to be close. I miss when we used to talk more. But underneath, there's an expectation. This is affection framed control, manipulation hidden in warmth, so you won't call it by name. 72. They change the subject to change the story. You're speaking your truth, but suddenly it's about them, their hurt, their past. This is narrative hijacking, a redirection tactic that steals your voice, then makes you comfort the thief. 73. They keep you in the grey zone. Not quite together, not quite apart. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. This is emotional limbo, a space where you wait endlessly for a clarity that never comes. 74. They use kindness as a leash. After hurting you, they give gifts, flowers, apologies. You feel guilty for still being hurt. This is compensatory guilt trapping, a way to bind you with gratitude so you won't speak your pain. 75. They turn privacy into secrecy. You ask questions, they deflect. You're being nosy. You don't need to know that. This is information hoarding, keeping power by keeping you in the dark. 76. They fake vulnerability to gain access. Tears, confessions, childhood stories. You open your heart in return, but they disappear once they have what they want. This is manufactured intimacy, a shortcut to your trust with no intention to stay. 77. They bring up your past, only when it benefits them. You used to be fun. Remember when you didn't complain so much? This is selective nostalgia manipulation, weaponizing memory to shape your present behavior. 78. They keep your self-worth on a string. Praise, withdrawal, love, silence. You never know where you stand. This is validation yo-yoing, a tactic designed to make you chase what should have been given freely. 79. They dismiss what matters with a laugh. You bring up something deep. They chuckle. You're so intense. This is mocking deflection, a way to downplay your truth so they never have to face it. 80. They create tiny debts and call them loyalty. A favor here, a ride there, and suddenly you owe them. This is favor banking, a quiet tally of kindnesses that turns into leverage. 81. They answer only part of the question. You ask something direct, but their reply slides sideways. They give you just enough to quiet you, not enough to satisfy. This is selective disclosure, a tactic that leaves you feeling heard, but still in the dark. 82. They make everything feel urgent, except you. Their needs, immediate. Their messages, demanding, but yours, always, can wait. This is asymmetric urgency, a quiet way to teach you that they matter more. 83. They withhold praise until you're desperate for it. You do well, silence. You stumble, criticism. And then, just when you're worn down, a scrap of approval. This is intermittent validation, a method that starves the soul so crumbs feel like feasts. 84. They cast doubt with a single word. Interesting. That's one way to look at it. No argument, just the seed of uncertainty. This is passive undermining, subtle enough to be deniable, strong enough to unravel confidence. 85. They wrap control in concern. I'm just worried about you. I don't think they're good for you. But it's not about your well-being, it's about access. This is protective framing, a mask of care worn to police your freedom. 86. They disappear after closeness, on purpose. After deep talks, after shared moments, silence. You wonder what went wrong. This is emotional whiplash, a push-pull dynamic designed to make you chase connection. 87. They turn everything into a debate. Your feelings become arguments. Your needs become theories. This is emotional logic flipping, a way to reframe the heart as irrational so they can win every time. 88. They bait you with vulnerability, then mock it. You open up, you share something real. Later they joke about it. This is empathy baiting, a trap to make you expose your softness so they can prove it was foolish. 89. They blame timing instead of actions. It's not what I did, it's just bad timing. Wrong place, wrong moment, never their fault. This is temporal deflection, shifting responsibility onto circumstance so they stay spotless. 90. They make you earn back the calm. After tension, they relax, smile, but only once you've bent, apologized, made peace. This is conflict conditioning, a tactic that turns harmony into something you must win. 91. They use your story as their shield. They repeat your trauma like a tale they've carried too, to explain their behavior, to justify the harm. This is reflective deflection, where your deepest wounds become the excuse for theirs. 92. They share secrets too soon. On the second date, a childhood trauma. On the first call, their deepest fear. It feels intimate, but it's calculated. This is accelerated vulnerability, a trick to rush closeness before trust has time to grow. 93. They speak in we to claim your choices. We're not that kind of couple. We don't like drama. You never agreed, but now you're included. This is assumed alliance, a soft takeover that disguises control as unity. 94. They tell you how everyone else sees you. People think you're intense. My friends say you're hard to talk to. No names, no proof, just whispers. This is perception planting, a tactic to reshape your self-image through invisible eyes. 95. They push generosity until it breaks you. You're so selfless. You're always there for people. It sounds like praise, but it's pressure. This is compassion exploitation, using your kindness as a leash. 96. They flirt with others when you're near. A glance, a laugh, a comment meant for you to hear. Then they act surprised. This is triangulation teasing, a subtle way to stir jealousy and make you compete for peace. 97. They mock what you love, gently. Your music, your clothes, your rituals, always just joking. This is affectionate erosion, belittling disguised as banter, wearing down joy one smile at a time. 98. They sabotage good moods with bad timing. You're relaxed, they pick a fight. You're celebrating, they bring bad news. This is emotional spike pulling, a tactic to keep you from ever feeling too good without their permission. 99. They ask questions that feel like knives. Why are you so sensitive? Do you always take things this personally? They sound curious, but they're not. This is interrogative invalidation, turning your pain into a flaw just by asking. 100. They force you to play detective. They won't lie, but they won't tell. You're left piecing together clues. This is strategic omission, a method of withholding that shifts the burden of truth onto you. 101. They shift the blame with a sigh. You feel it, the weight in the room. They never say it outright, but the disappointment hovers over your name. This is emotional suggestion. Blame delivered without accusation, so you do the punishing for them. 102. They share stories that mirror your flaws. A friend who was too clingy, a co-worker who was always dramatic. The message is subtle but clear. This is indirect criticism, a quiet way to correct you without saying your name. 103. They interrupt softly, like it's nothing. You speak, they nod, they hum, they finish your sentence, harmless, until your words feel less and less yours. This is conversational dominance, taking control through small disruptions that shrink your voice over time. 104. They pretend to be helpless. Lost with technology, overwhelmed by errands, you step in, again and again. This is strategic incompetence, a subtle form of control disguised as need. 105. They smile while they insult you. You're cute when you're insecure. You'd be perfect if you weren't so intense. This is sweetened cruelty, an insult wrapped in sugar so it slips beneath your skin. 106. They disappear just long enough to matter. No texts, no calls, no warning. Then suddenly, back as if nothing happened. This is attention deprivation, creating emotional hunger by withholding affection without cause. 107. They pretend to lose so you won't leave. You threaten to walk away, and suddenly they stumble. They forget things, fall apart, become fragile. This is collapse manipulation, a quiet performance of helplessness to make your absence feel like cruelty. 108. They create rules you didn't agree to. We don't talk to exes. You'd tell me if you made new friends. You're caught, bound to an unspoken contract. This is imposed expectation, control masked as mutual agreement. 109. They react too calmly when you're upset. You cry, they blink. Their stillness makes you feel excessive. This is emotional flattening, a tactic to make your feelings feel like a burden. 110. They tell your stories for you. At gatherings, with friends, they speak your memories as if they were theirs. This is narrative control, owning your past by telling it first. 111. They use your values against you. You're the compassionate one. You always said honesty matters most. Now your own ethics become chains. This is moral manipulation, weaponizing your virtues to limit your freedom. 112. They ask for honesty, then punish it. You speak your truth. They sulk, lash out, or withdraw. Next time, you stay silent. This is feedback trapping, a system where openness leads to pain. 113. They act shocked by your boundaries. You've changed. I thought we were closer than that. Their hurt twists your clarity into guilt. This is boundary shaming, a tactic that makes self-protection feel like betrayal. 114. They overload you with logic, charts, definitions, long-winded explanations, until you question your instincts. This is rational override, drowning emotion in facts to steal the ground from under you. 115. They watch how others treat you. Then copy what works, a joke that silenced you, a look that made you doubt. This is observational mimicry, learning the levers by watching others pull them. 116. They change the subject just as it gets real. You're close, honest, vulnerable, and suddenly they talk about dinner. This is emotional diversion, a tactic to avoid depth by running from discomfort. 117. They make their love conditional on performance. When you're useful, you're adored. When you falter, you feel coldness. This is transactional affection, where care is earned, not given. 118. They control when things are over. You think it's resolved, they bring it back. You're still processing, they've moved on. This is emotional pacing, controlling the tempo to stay in power. 119. They give you nicknames that feel off. Crazy girl, my little mess, said with affection, but you feel it sting. This is identity reshaping, a tactic that rebrands you until you believe it. 120. They draw comparisons that undermine. She's so low maintenance. He never overreacts. Suddenly, you're measured against a fiction. This is comparative conditioning, altering behavior through quiet rivalry. 121. They fake humility to deflect praise. I'm nothing special. I just got lucky. You stop complimenting. They still stay admired. This is false modesty, a tactic that invites praise while pretending to reject it. 122. They turn your needs into favors. You ask for space, they grant it. You request honesty, they indulge you. This is favor framing, where your basic rights become debts. 123. They create moments of chaos, then calm you, startle, upset, confuse, then soothe, hug, or apologize. This is emotional whiplash, disorienting you so their comfort feels like safety. 124. They reflect only your best traits back. You feel seen, admired, safe, but it's a mirror, not a window. This is idealized reflection, a technique to win trust by showing only what you want to see. 125. They plant harmless lies to see how far they can go. A white lie, a minor detail. They watch if you notice. This is compliance testing, soft experiments in rewriting reality. 126. They confuse you with rapid shifts. Sweet, cold, engaged, distant. You spend your days decoding them. This is emotional instability induction, making you chase balance that never comes. 127. They casually mention what you lack. That's so something I do, but I'm a planner. You wouldn't know, but this is subtle superiority signaling, belittlement masked as charm. 128. They present their pain as deeper than yours. You cry, they cry louder. You struggle, they suffer more. This is empathy hijacking, a tactic that centers them even in your pain. 129. They joke about leaving. I should just disappear. Bet you'd be better off without me. You reassure them. Again, this is abandonment baiting, testing your loyalty by threatening to vanish. 130. They treat your dreams like burdens. You share excitement, they frown. Are you sure? That's a lot. This is ambition dimming, snuffing out your spark before it grows. 131. They rehearse vulnerability. A confession, a fear, a trembling voice. But each time it's the same script. This is synthetic openness, designed to appear real without any risk. 132. They wait for your confidence to bloom, then prune it. You glow, they tease. You succeed. They remind you of limits. This is confidence containment, keeping your joy at a manageable level. 133. They imply you're ungrateful. I've done so much for you. I wish you knew how hard this is for me. This is gratitude coercion, making you feel indebted for what should be mutual. 134. They attach identity to your emotions. You're always anxious. You're the dramatic one. Your feelings become fixed labels. This is emotional branding, making a moment into a mask you never asked for. 135. They promise change in future tense. I'll get help. I'm working on it. But the work never arrives. This is future faking, a tactic to stay close without growing. 136. They create crises only they can fix. Lost keys, a forgotten bill, a mess. They solve it, become the hero. This is problem manufacturing, controlling you by controlling the solution. 137. They rewrite the timeline. That never happened. You always overreacted. You begin to question memory. This is temporal gaslighting, not erasing your reality, but rearranging it. 138. They make kindness feel conditional. You behave, they're sweet. You protest, they turn cold. This is reinforcement control, training you to seek comfort through submission. 139. They keep you close, but undefined. We're more than friends, but let's not label it. You wait in limbo. This is situationship manipulation, intimacy without responsibility. 140. They pretend they don't understand you. Again and again, you explain, rephrase, beg to be seen. This is strategic misunderstanding, a refusal to hear that puts the burden on you. 141. They offer closure on their terms. You want understanding, an honest conversation, but they offer a final word, not a mutual ending. This is controlled closure, where resolution is decided for you, leaving no space for your voice to finish the story. 142. They praise your silence during conflict. You're so mature for not reacting. You handled that well. But the silence wasn't peace. It was suppression. This is rewarded suppression. a tactic that turns your quiet pain into something they can applaud. 143. They show up, but not fully. They do the chores, answer the calls, but they don't meet you emotionally. This is functional masking, where reliability becomes a disguise for emotional absence. 144. They call your strength coldness. You set boundaries, and they say you shut down. You stand firm, and they call you harsh. This is empowerment shaming, where your growth becomes a threat, not a virtue. 145. They act overwhelmed when you're honest. You share gently, but they sigh, withdraw, or shut down. You start apologizing for simply feeling. This is overload performance, a subtle drama that makes your emotions seem too heavy to hold. 146. They say it's a misunderstanding, not mistreatment. They tell you took it the wrong way, not because they didn't harm you, but because they don't want to face it. This is intent washing, a tactic that erases responsibility with soft language. 147. They collect emotional debts in silence. They offer support, give favors, but months later, they remind you what they did. This is retroactive debt collection, where help was never free, just delayed leverage. 148. They critique how you say things, not what you say. You speak your truth, and they zero in on your tone. Too emotional. Too much. This is tone targeting, a way to invalidate your message by attacking your delivery. 149. They blur boundaries slowly. A tiny overstep here, a joke there. Nothing big, just consistent. This is incremental erosion, a quiet process of testing your limits until your no softens into maybe. 150. They rewrite the ending. After everything, they act like it was all fine. That it wasn't manipulation, just a phase, just love. This is retroactive distortion, the final twist that leaves you questioning the truth you finally started to see.